Hi friends, it's Psychic Medium Elizabeth Grove, the Paranormal Priestess, and today I am going to be introducing myself for the very first time to the Divine Masculine who are out there and who are currently awakening to this thing called twin flames. And I was really guided by my angels to do this, and I am hoping that somehow this will reach the Divine Masculine. And whoever's watching this right now, Divine Masculines, I really hope that this is going to help you to understand things a little bit better. Perhaps some things will make sense to you. If it's not making sense to you too much right now, I'm hoping maybe this will later. But I definitely was guided to do this. I want to introduce myself for the first time because I know many of you watching right now have no idea who I am. My name is Elizabeth Grove, known as the Paranormal Priestess. I am a professional psychic medium, an angelic channeler, and I'm also known as a remote spirit extractor specialist all over the world. And I am myself a blue-ray twin flame. So I do a lot of work with twin flames. I do very specific channeled sessions. Not only do I bring through the angels, but I also am able to bring through the higher self of the beloved. So this is something that I consider pretty unique. And although many of you watching might be a little bit skeptical about that, about maybe most of the work that I just mentioned, but my clients who come to me, they know that a lot of the details that come through, everything that's read within the dynamic, the messages, the mannerisms of their twin flames, higher self, the way they talk, all of that, it definitely more than confirms and validates that this is indeed real, that I'm really speaking to them. And the clearing work that I do definitely helps so many twin flame couples out there. And I'm really just grateful and I'm humbled to be able to do this work. But my spiritual team really guided me to do this video today, and I asked my own twin flame's higher self if he felt comfortable speaking to the Divine Masculines. Some twin flames, they meet in the higher realms first. They have the higher self communication and the relationship starts out that way. And others, they meet in the physical, but they have to go through the different stages that way. And I happen to be one of those twin flames where I am in touch with my twin's higher self first, and I have not met his physical vessel yet. But I have to tell you, no matter what, you're always connected, and the love is just beyond all time and space. So I did ask his higher self if he felt comfortable enough, and if it was in the highest good to share his words publicly. And although this is hard for him, he really agreed that it was a really good opportunity to be able to reach the Divine Masculine and possibly validate their experiences or open them up to the connection. So I'm really proud of him that he really was able to put all of his thoughts and emotions in this. Whether or not his physical vessel will come across this video one day, I don't know. I am doing this to basically just support the Divine Masculine out there. So this is going to be very intense, and if any of the Divine Feminine are watching this and feel guided, you have to be guided, of course, to send this video over to their Divine Masculine, thinking that perhaps it may help them out. By all means, I give my permission, and that would be a fantastic thing if it's able to help you in your journey. So without further ado, I'm going to be looking down for most of the video, so just bear with me. And this is directly from my higher self as to what he wanted to share. He's referencing his 3D self in some of this, and he's also referencing his higher self and things that he already knows, so just to avoid any confusion with that. Hi guys, I'm Elizabeth's twin flame. I'm pretty much a regular dude, but I'm having some pretty profound experiences that I can't exactly come to terms with or understand yet. In fact, I've been getting signs and synchronicities for a while now, but I just haven't been giving them too much thought, except that I've been finding it pretty interesting. I've seen 1111 a lot, 333, and I've been having people come up to me giving me messages that are connected to what I've been experiencing, which is Elizabeth. I know her from dreams. The dreams that I've been having felt really intense because I was having a familiar encounter with a soul, but I didn't know from where I knew her or if she would ever appear in my life this time around. I thought it was pretty awesome. I could feel her touch, I could touch her, and this was, let's just say, beyond what I'm going to say here. These dreams would continue, and they were extremely vivid and memorable. They stood with me, yet I had my life, and that's what I needed to stay grounded, not dreams. I've always been very practical and lived in the moment. Whatever came up that day, that's what I lived. The dreams of her were amazing, I won't lie, but this wasn't life. This was dreams. I was always about living life and achieving my goals by making good, logical decisions, and I never had much time, so my life was fast moving. It was always one thing to the next, and I always had my ideas in my head that true love was something that was written in books and filmed for a good chick movie that I wasn't into watching. I'm more of your action flick or horror flick type of dude, not sappy chick flicks with happy endings that were never realistic. I'm into reality and living in the moment, not in romantic fantasy. Not to say that I didn't want to live out my ideas of romantic fantasy with a woman who was attractive and into me. I mean, why not? I was living in the now, right? What's wrong with having a good time and enjoying myself? In fact, I did that pretty often because I'm the type of dude who thrives on excitement and danger. The more the better from time to time. Was this some sort of addiction? I didn't really dive into that notion, but let's just say that I had my highs, although alcohol and drugs weren't it. I like control over my mind and emotions. I want to make those choices, not be controlled by an outside substance. Okay, so I was pretty much having a good time for a while when I had time. I have a pretty fucked up schedule, but I found some time here and there to satisfy the loneliness I felt when I wasn't working. Well, so I thought. Funny, none of my girlfriends ever worked out. Nothing ever lasted. Either I was distant or bored, or she was trying to mold me into something I just wasn't. There was always some sort of drama that played out, so I didn't really need to watch a chick flick because my life was a damn soap opera anyway. I couldn't understand if maybe it was just me. Was there something wrong with me? Maybe I just got lost in my own world and others didn't have access to it. I found myself lonelier every single time a relationship or a one-night stand ended. What did I do about that many times? One of two things. I either went back to my exes or I just worked to get myself back because I felt like I lost myself every time I was with a woman. It was all about her and her own reputation. But my world, again, she had no access to it. I only let her see what I wanted her to see. I gave the side that I chose and left the other sides hidden. I'm a mystery, I guess, or just really fucking weird. Who knows? I didn't even know sometimes. Then there was this woman who I was dreaming of and then beginning to perceive while awake. She wasn't like any woman I have ever been attracted to in the physical. In fact, she was the opposite, even in her looks. Yet somehow, I felt this intense feeling in my heart for her and I began wanting her so badly. I would tell her that I wanted to dream of her and asked her if she would come into my dreams. She usually did, and she gave me so much more love than I've ever received from a woman while awake. It seemed way too good to be true. Maybe I knew her from a past life. If so, how was this going to help me in this life? Maybe I would meet her, maybe not. Again, I'm a realist, so I was prepared for the fact that I wouldn't. And so I just focused on my own goals and ambitions, making myself feel like I've accomplished what I wanted and that everything was great. I had these ideas that I kept telling myself, I have it all. Everything everyone else wants, I worked hard enough to have. Life isn't perfect, but maybe it's as good as it's going to get. And that whatever women I had, maybe this was as good as it was going to be for me, so I should just take it and enjoy it and be grateful for however long it would last. I tried to convince myself that everything was fine, but then why would I end up so fucking miserable? Why would I end up thinking everything over and wondering if I was ever going to feel better about life? I would get into these little depressions where I would close myself off from people and just not want to be bothered. Maybe this was my way of acting out the feelings of dissatisfaction that I just didn't want to come face to face with. These were my own inner demons that I didn't want others to get infected by. Maybe if I hid them, no one would know. Pretty much this was the cycle of my life. I got down by it and then built myself strong again. It wasn't the best way to deal with it, but I was used to it. I dreamt of more, but I didn't have time, nor many times the energy to dream my life away. I had things to get done and people counting on me. Elizabeth never went away, though. In fact, she became a pretty prominent figure on my spirit guide team, so that's how I felt about it. I knew she was there guiding me, whispering sweet, beautiful, supportive words, and telling me when she felt I would be in danger. She was always trying to protect me, and I loved the feeling of her. My heart would fill up with this energy, and I would feel like butterflies in my heart. It was strange. Sometimes when I felt her around me, I would get this high feeling that was better than anything I've ever felt before. I never felt such an intoxicating feeling. This was the feeling that I wanted to feel from a woman. This was what was missing. I figured it out because I was left very lonely when I was not getting that feeling from those I've dated. I just wish that Elizabeth was in front of my face and really in my bed. Oh, that's the other thing. There was this sense and feelings that I was being, well, touched at night. Kind of like it was tingling electric moving through me, but it gave me pleasurable sensations. Best way I know how to describe it. I guess we'll call it spirit sex. There were times that I questioned if this was coming from something that wanted to suck the life right out of me, but then again, her love was so pure and beautiful that it literally felt warm and embracing. I wanted to just feel this forever. I wanted to dream of her without an ending. I wanted her. This was stupid, I thought. What a moron. Did I want a real girlfriend or a spirit girl? Was I supposed to let my family and friends know that I was dating and having sex with a spirit girlfriend? Yeah, that would have went over well. I knew what my heart felt, my soul called out to, but I told myself I just couldn't have that. I had to have something physical and palpable. That was the choice of someone who believed in living life. I was living, not dead. I could be with her for eternity, but for now I was alive and pumping and needed to be with a real, living, breathing woman who I could actually introduce to my parents and friends. I've gotten really used to Elizabeth being around. I wanted her to be around, well, alright, maybe not always around. This is only because I was trying to separate my life in the way that I had my professional life and real dating life, and then I had my own personal hidden time with her, going to places that seemed like they were straight out of a beautiful James Cameron Avatar movie. The colors and the forest and our spiritual love was more alive than anything I could have ever experienced with anyone living or breathing. Sometimes I wondered if this was how it was when we died. Are we all in an exotic place with ecstasy and Mother Nature as a gorgeous backdrop? Was this the reward after all we've gone through? The challenges and limitations of our earthly lives? Does God finally let us just have our cake and eat it too? Certainly made me wonder if the real world was actually that world and we were living the illusion. I was thinking deeper thoughts about this and then looking at the world from different perspectives. Things that I used to enjoy I no longer enjoyed, and the opinions I once had were no longer the same opinions. I watched the women I dated very closely, their movements, their gestures, and most of all, I read their energy. I discovered that I was able to read people more than ever. As an empath, I'm able to pick up on the emotions of others like a sponge, but since Elizabeth came into my life, I was then able to use superhuman powers in a way. I could see right through fake people and discover their motives in self-conscious ways. I had X-ray vision in a sense. I could just see it all very quickly, and I always felt sorry for them. I could tell that their lives have shaped them into what they portrayed in the world. I was then finding myself wanting to maybe help them to see the truth, rather than hiding. It wasn't always welcomed, but that's what I felt compelled to do. They weren't born that way. Their families, communities, and society all played parts in shaping them. I saw the greater picture, and it was startling. I thought to myself, I want to reveal the truth of all things. I'm here to discover the truth and then uncover the truth so that perhaps it can impact the world in some way. I'm not trying to be a fucking martyr, but I am just trying to expose the lies that we've all been fed. All the bullshit we're supposed to just swallow and ask no questions about. My world kept opening up, and I found myself wanting to help people a lot more than I had in the past. I was thinking about how I played a role in the world and how that role wasn't to be taken lightly. It was a responsibility. I have a responsibility to be a good role model and a good leader so that others would respect not only me, but more importantly, what I represented. And that's what my legacy would be after I'm gone. On to Elizabeth. It is tough for me to write this, I will be honest. I'm opening up about these things that I normally don't feel comfortable about sharing. I'm just not that kind of dude. I like to keep my deepest thoughts and emotions private in order to keep them from being mistaken and then rearranged into some sort of half-assed lie. I definitely don't like when others try to come off as though they know exactly who I am and where I'm coming from. I'll promise you, 99.9% of them don't. But that's an entirely other subject I can go on and on about. I want to talk about Elizabeth. She's someone you can't help but be drawn to and comfortable with. For me to be comfortable with someone, I mean completely comfortable. That's almost unheard of. Yet she makes me feel as if no matter what I say, how I say it, or what I do, she accepts and loves me no matter what. I say some stupid shit, believe me, but she just finds it humorous, and she even challenges it with her own humorous sarcasm. We understand each other, and we support each other at all costs. She's never made me feel bad for being brutally honest about things. She's always took the time to listen and really understand what I meant. There are listeners, and then there's Elizabeth. She connects with me on every level, and this has opened me up in ways that I could never really put into words, nor would I even try. I could count on her to be there for me and to help me work through my thoughts and emotions. She doesn't judge me. She only loves me and shows her compassion for what I'm going through or newly discovering. This is something I've never had with any woman, not even close. I wouldn't let them get in. I wouldn't allow myself to become that vulnerable. I just wouldn't trust it fully. That was what my gut instincts were telling me. I had a threshold for people. All people, not just those who I dated. When I'm with Elizabeth, that threshold does not exist. There are no walls between us. None. She allows me full freedom to connect with myself, her, and the universe. I've learned so much about myself just by being with her that I can't even remember the man I used to be. It's as if I'm looking at a stranger. I literally can't even believe it was me. I'm not ashamed of who I used to be. I had gone through periods where I was having those thoughts and emotions, but Elizabeth wasn't judging who I used to be. And didn't want me to judge him either. Just, excuse me, it's kind of emotional. She explained that all aspects of me were beautiful and perfect, and that I did the best that I could with the knowledge and experience I had at that time. It took me some time to sit with this, honestly. I mean, I did a lot of shit I wouldn't say was good at all. I'm not a bad person, but I made some bad choices in my past that put me in positions that were downright dangerous. I was impulsive. I constantly needed stimulation in every area of my life. And it was hard for me to stand still. And I was always changing my mind about things or suddenly making impulsive moves. I was never contained. I wanted freedom. I wanted my freedom. And forget anyone who came off as if they were trying to take that away from me. I just wasn't having that. Elizabeth never came off this way. She did nothing but encourage my freedom in all ways, and she wanted me to understand that there was nothing to be ashamed of, nothing to suppress within myself. She allowed the true me to emerge and come up to the surface. I could finally breathe and be me. This is when I realized that true love was not fictional, but was truth. She was the epitome of love and what it really meant, not just the words we cough up because it's routine to say them for whatever reason our brains tell us. She was love in actions. And that means way more than any words could convey. Her energy was that love in action, and it transformed me. Sorry, guys. Just a moment. You gotta understand, like, as I read these words too, the emotions, I know this is distracting, I'm sorry, but the emotions can be felt, and the personality, I'm going to try to get through this as best I can, so bear with me. Every time I was with her energy, I was me. I am also me when I work and do what I'm most passionate about. I need passion in my life, but somehow along the way that word was taken out of context and abused by me. I wanted passion, and I thought that I could have passion with other women, and I was somehow mixing up the word passion with the word lust. They are two different animals altogether. Lustful need is something that is likened to a drug that gives you a quick hit because your body's craving it so badly it needs to be relieved. The withdrawal you would most likely feel would be shit too, I would imagine. That quick hit feels amazing in the moment, ecstatic and euphoric, and then what happens? It all falls away, leaving you sick again and in need of a hit again. It's kind of what was happening in my own life. That lust of a man just kicked in, a man who needs a hit of a woman because it feels too damn good in the moment. Like I explained earlier, I'm a man who lives fully in the moment. Unfortunately, though, after the many moments, I was feeling worse than before. The loneliness or sickness came over me, and I needed the hit again to make it go away. It was better to make it go away than to sit and dwell on it. I wasn't into playing self-diagnosis. I was used to just being able to fix something. I know all I was doing was putting a Band-Aid on a very deep wound. Now, passion is something entirely different, I learned. Passion is empowering, and it gives energy and life and healing. It doesn't take it away. It doesn't bring the sickness. It doesn't put a Band-Aid on it. It actually heals it and makes you feel better than before. You are energized, and that's the energy you were able to give others because there is actually more of it to give. Passion is what I have to give for the life purpose that I do, and passion is what I have to give to Elizabeth. It's a burning excitement, a fiery truth, a dynamic energy that comes straight from the soul connected to a higher source. That is passion. Passion is a byproduct of the true unconditional love as well as the driving force behind it. Passion is alive and well when I'm around Elizabeth. Passion has sexual energy within it, but there is no lustful need. The passion just is. It's present every time we come into contact with each other. We don't have to be making love. We can just be talking or sitting by the water or holding each other while falling asleep. It's consistent and never loses its potency. This, my friends, is passion. She makes me feel alive, and I know I do the same for her. I want to do more, express more, create more, inspire the world more. This is what she brings out of me. She helps me to tap into the deepest recesses of my heart, mind, and soul, and to never feel embarrassed or afraid of what I would find there or what she would learn of me. Guys, this is it. This is what this twin flame thing you keep hearing all these women talk about actually is. The passion and unconditional love that is divine and real and not some bullshit trend that some women thought they'd conjure up because they were insecure and lonely. These aren't false concepts. In fact, they aren't concepts at all. They're simply facts. I like facts, hands down. I thrive on facts, and I work really hard to weed out what is actually bullshit. I like to know what I'm really dealing with, so I'm coming forward as a higher self to tell the men out there that may be experiencing these very same things, that this is completely real, and that you will soon understand that what you are really afraid of is letting yourself feel it. I know I was. As men, we have been conditioned. We were taught to not show our vulnerability because we would then come off as weak, and then we might be exposed to physical harassment or rejection. We are always taught to be a man, make sure you toughen up. Don't ever let them see you cry. Be the protector and provider. Be the rock. Only show your strengths, not your weaknesses. Think about it, guys. Our feminine side was never allowed to even peek through. We had to literally stuff that shit down or work hard to pretend that it didn't exist. How unbalanced, fucked up is that? Those programs run pretty intricately throughout the entire male gender. Now that that side of us is awakening, we are literally terrified that the damn secret of our sensitivities will get out. It's a trigger that we'd rather not deal with at all, because what if it does? How will we save face? What will our identity be then? How will others, especially our male friends or our bros, think of us and then possibly treat us? Many guys have an extremely difficult time accepting that it is perfectly okay to show emotions, even shed tears. Somehow, it's just not okay. But why is it not okay? The answer usually is because that's just the way it's always been. Well, I've stepped forward, even before saying these things in the physical, in which I will, I promise, to hopefully assist other guys who have met a special woman, either a spirit woman for now, or the physical version of her. This woman that I'm referring to, the twin flame, as it's known, is like no one and nothing that you've ever come across in this lifetime. She's the goddess figure to the god that you are, but yet you both share the two. You're both each other. By suppressing your feelings regarding your own feminine side and by rejecting her and all that she brings out of you, you are completely shutting your own heart and soul down and allowing society's shackles to tighten. It's a prison that she holds the key to. You deserve freedom, guys, even if you don't quite believe it yet. Trust me, you will. If you want proof, it's there. If you want evidence, you'll get it. This won't just go away like some Dreamweaver soundtrack of fantasy. This will penetrate you and transform you where you will never be able to go back to the type of man you once believed yourself to be. I say believed yourself to be, because some of you are still actually believing the bullshit male ego story you keep trying to tell yourself, either consciously or subconsciously, and it's ending now. It's all ending. If you've been feeling something so strong, beautiful, magical, pure, and loving, why wouldn't you want to at least find out more information about it? Do you think it's an accident? Trust me, I gave up on coincidences a long time ago. They just don't exist. I've had way too much synchronicity in my life to ever think that people and events are a part of your life by accident. I realize all of the interconnections. Things make sense when you begin to start examining them and stop fucking ignoring the very real signs that keep on coming like a freight train. They aren't going to suddenly disappear just because you aren't comfortable with change. Change is inevitable, guys. The world is changing. And the only way it's going to change into a place of love is if we accept what it is that our hearts are feeling instead of taking a passive-aggressive approach to what we've all desired all along. A princess. Yup, I said it. I admit that I was always wanting a princess that I could kiss and wake up. That was until I went through the ringer and had my heart broken so many times, was lied to, used, played, exposed. After so many times of that, I said, fuck it. I have to start understanding the real world and what it's all about. Well, as men, we all got off track. We started shutting down our hearts and hiding our true feelings. We started playing Batman, guys. We played superhero in the outside world. And then we went into our man caves where we let Bruce Wayne out for just a little while. Then even Bruce Wayne started losing his cool. He started developing an identity complex really bad. His world then just came crumbling down. Even society started turning on him. My advice is, don't hide behind any personas anymore. Don't try to always be the hero others want you to be, and just be comfortable enough to walk out as your own man with your own thoughts and feelings. Don't be afraid to claim them. No one can hurt you unless you allow them to. Your twin flame will never ever try to hurt you. She will only honor you and you'll honor her. Take a chance on this thing. You don't have to rush if you truly aren't ready to come out, but think about what I shared. I shared it because I want to support this journey. Even if my own physical vessel hasn't quite accepted the reality of this yet, he will. I can feel it. I'm just a few steps ahead. I think I will stop there, but I want to thank my beautiful twin flame Elizabeth for asking me to share my thoughts and feelings she left it up to me to decide, and I love her for always respecting my decisions. She's always wanted to make sure that I'm okay with things, and I agreed to do this because I saw it as an important opportunity to address people who really need this. I know there are many like my 3D self that are in this denial mood with all of this stuff. Now, I'm not blaming you, I'm just keeping it real, as I always joke with Elizabeth. How she puts up with my sarcastic humor, I have no idea, but even that is a miracle in itself. I'll admit I could be a handful sometimes. Even if my words have helped validate or confirm what you've been experiencing, I'm grateful that I stepped up to the plate. If these words have helped my 3D self to release what he needs in order to have the confidence to walk this path in the physical, that's a great thing too. All I can feel is that he's struggling with this and that the struggle is finally coming to an end. I hope that those who are struggling with what's happening can finally end that struggle and embrace the fact that true love is here for humanity as a gift and as an opportunity to transform. Lots of love, Elizabeth's twin, Anonymous. Wow. You know, I had some reservations about coming through with this message and how it was going to be received and whether or not it was going to have a negative impact on my own union. And, you know, with everything that I put on my channel, I trust the divine. I even double checked with Archangel Michael on this, if this was going to be within the highest good to do this. And as he had said, you know, I make sure that I always respect my twin flame's higher self. I mean, even before I meet him in the physical, you know, this is the real soul of the person. So it's not like this relationship is not real in any way. In fact, it's super real. But I wanted to make sure he was comfortable, and he was a little unsure at first about coming out and, you know, sharing his deep thoughts and feelings. But once he got into this, as you can tell, he was really passionate about bringing this across. So, Divine Masculine out there who are watching this right now, perhaps this has moved you in some sort of way or helped make more sense out of things. Divine Feminine, if you are the ones watching this and you feel comforted by this, and perhaps you can understand his side of it a little bit better and can surrender a little bit more, that's perfect. I just felt really strongly about doing this video, so thank you so much to everyone who's watching this now, who took the time to listen to this. You know, I obviously, you know, I shared, or he shared some of our personal journey, and I'm a very private person. I really believe in protecting my union. Of course, I will protect his identity at all costs, you know, in case he does come across this video. That would only be respectful and only be right. But again, this was just to help those out there, especially the Divine Masculine, who are beginning to awake, or currently awakening, who are struggling with this. I'm hoping maybe this had helped you out. So, thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to my clients. I am truly grateful for the work that I do, and I'm really glad that I stepped forward. I stepped forward to have this channel, and I've been getting excellent feedback, and I'm really blessed. So this is it. And for guys who haven't heard what I usually say at the end of each video, from the heart of the darkness is born the light. Many bright blessings. Take care. Love you guys. Bye.